5th, as much as you guys have him on trial now. Oh, but wait, he can't because Derek Chauvin murdered him. And now he gets the opportunity, the privilege to, plead the Fifth Amendment.
And have the justice system work for him in a way that he stole from another human being. Because now he gets to play the cards that he threw out for himself.
Right.
But George Floyd did not have that option.
No, he didn't. And the mothers in his life, and George Floyd's whole case is just so profound to me, the way he was calling for his mother there. I think we all felt that and have felt attached to this situation in some way. It sparked something a year ago. And I think that his murder definitely is a huge reason that the state of Black motherhood in 2021 is what it is.
Yes, absolutely. Like the meme that we've seen floating around ever since his life was taken is that every mother, when he yelled mama, that every mother heard the call.
Yeah.
And so where do we go? Where do we go? So we hear the call, and I think what we've been witnessing or the way that these things have gone ever since, the first time I really got clued in was with Trayvon Martin, where it was actually Sean Bell back in 2004 in New York City. I was living there. He was murdered on his wedding day. And from there, it seems, I can remember like case by case, but it was Trayvon Martin that really sparked a huge outcry from, I don't want to say that, not like the Black community doesn't spark a huge outcry every single time, but there was something that touched us, right, with Trayvon. And so I see this again with George Floyd, but how do we get out of this cycle of it happens, we're outraged, we pour into the streets, we have the conversations on political television shows, and then that name fizzles away, and then a new hashtag name comes up, and now we're all in on that one, and it's been this ever going loop, and I don't have an answer. I wish I did. I don't have an answer, but I think that's a question that we as Black mothers can just within our communities. Like, what can we do to break that cycle, the helpless cycle of watching and then waiting for the next one, and then watching and then waiting for the next one, and feeling complete and utter despair.
I feel
every
like
time.
Because we're in America, that's America with 3 Ks. Because we're here, we know that it's likely not going to stop. And so I think that switch happens when we pivot and decide the way we will consume it, because it is a never ending cycle, and it will always probably be like that, if not even more invasive soon. We have to decide how we're going to deal with ourselves, and when we really start to decide how we're going to deal with ourselves, protect ourselves, keep ourselves grounded, then I think that it doesn't change us from being affected and hurt by it. But I think we find ourselves at least better able to put it into perspective and to be able to find ways to still go on, because, like we touched on before, the motherhood doesn't stop throughout all of this. No. As tired as we get mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, the motherhood doesn't stop. And so we have to continue to show up.
The motherhood doesn't stop, and the racism does not stop everywhere else. So we are watching these stories and having to contend with what we can do for our children in our home and, having the talks and all of that. But then we leave our homes to go to work. And then you have to deal with the microaggressions and the racist bullying and the double standards and the higher expectations placed on Black women when they're in the workplace. And then you go to the grocery store and then you have to deal with, right?
What do I in Kingwood? Just going to the store.
And so you're getting hit at every single turn. But everywhere you go as a Black woman, everyone is expecting you to show up. But it's not enough to just show up. We got to show up. We have to produce. We have to stay in a good mood.
Right. Right.
Don't you dare frown. Right.
So as not to be threatening. You know,
no matter what's coming at you, we're expected to maintain absolute grace and composure. And then when we're not, right?
Yeah. And you know, that was an unintentional segue, but that I think that's going to segue us into Black Maternal Health Week and what we have to talk about. We have some things to talk about.
I'm just like, what y'all want us to do?
You know what I mean? It's upsetting me and my homegirls. It really is. But we're gonna pivot ourselves, and we're gonna move on to Black Maternal Health Week. We're going to share just some of the issues because the issues are plenty, and also going to share with you the story of a mama whose Black maternal health struggles are not what you may always think of when we think of the Black maternal health crisis, but they're definitely absolutely a part of that. And it's going to shed some light on a situation that we all need to pay close attention to. And that's going to be dealing with racisms and racisms. Well, yeah, there's some, those racisms, baby.
Multiples, plurals, all
racism
the time.
And the NICU. Okay. So make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to All Real Radio. Maybe you're online at www.allrealradio.com. Or maybe you have the app and you're all fancy. Either way, I want you to stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. This is heavy. I encourage you to take a break as well.
Go outside.
Take some deep breaths, you know, have a piece of fruit.
Yeah,
do
drink
something,
some tea.
Okay? We'll be back in a few minutes. It's going to be all right, y'all. We're going to be all right.